Well, first of all, I'd like to acknowledge a few people. Dennis and the men's group that we're in together, and Jean and Carol have all helped in calming me during this last week of preparation, and mostly Dawn has helped me calm, and also she's helped me considerably in tweaking my testimony and in helping me with getting it on the computer, and Jean helped me print it out. And she did all this. Dawn did all this despite the fact that she had all kinds of other things like worship and arts and helping with put together the materials for Jean's ordination yesterday and stuff. So it was no mean feat for her, and she did it with grace and loving care. So thank you very much. Please pray with me and help me ground. O great mystery, creator of all of us, be with me as I try to bring the word, your word, to my people. Put words in my mouth that will help them see the light of the other and banish the darkness. Thank you. Amen. So this is a story about how or a series of stories about how I've learned to accept and sometimes embrace the other. What is the other? For me, the other is anything that makes me uncomfortable. Trump is definitely the other. Biden is also the other. Trump, I have a hard time thinking that I will ever embrace him or even accept him. And while Biden I've accepted as the lesser of two others, I have a hard time thinking that I'll be able to embrace him. Those others are very far away. And we'll talk about some others that are closer to home. Now, my parents gave me a very good foundation for accepting the other. Some examples. One, they participated in walkouts in restaurants during the late 40s to help with desegregation. While at the University of Indiana, and shared stories of these experiences with my sister and I as we were growing up. And two, when I was 5, they moved us from the suburb of Burbank to central Los Angeles. So my sister and I would grow up in a diverse environment, being friends, neighbors, and schoolmates with people of different cultural, economic, and spiritual backgrounds. And 3, being professors of behavioral psychology who studied animals, they had an understanding of animals that dispelled the fears we often have to acceptance and appreciation. They taught me to respect and even love animals, even when I was afraid of them. Now, many of you know that I love bats. All kinds of bats, insect-eating bats, carnivorous bats, fruit and nectar-eating bats, and even the vampire bats of Central and Southern and South America that feed on blood. It all started in Minnesota when I was about 12 or 13 years old. I was raised in Los Angeles and spent most of my summers in Minnesota at a cabin on a lake. One time, a bat was grounded in the grass, and a bunch of us formed a circle around him trying to decide what to do. My dad went into the boathouse, and came back with a big flat shovel. Everyone, including me, thought he was going to whack the little guy. But my dad brought the shovel down very gently in front of the bat. Now, seeming to realize what he was up to, the bat scrambled onto the shovel. Dad then tilted the shovel back, lifted it up, and started walking slowly out of the circle. The circle parted and Dad walked through. He lifted the shovel as high as he could and tilted it forward. The bat slipped off the end and flew off into the forest. Now, the next time I encountered a bat up close is the one that led me to love bats. I was going to sleep one night in the cabin with my blanket up over my nose to keep off the mosquitoes that were buzzing around my head. And then, whoosh, something very large flew by my head. "What's that?" I said to myself. I turned on the light and a little bat flew up into a crack in the ceiling. I didn't know what to do, so I turned off the light and tried again to go to sleep. Whoosh! The bat came through again. By this time, I was really scared and wondering what to do. Now, about 5 whooshes later, I was really scared and waiting for the next one. And waiting. And waiting. Then I suddenly realized that the buzzing was gone, that the bat must be eating the mosquitoes. Well, for the next 2 weeks or so, every night at bedtime, I would throw off the covers and attract mosquitoes for my pet bat, who I named Igor, after that first night. As a result of this experience and the examples my parents set, I don't like to judge people on hearsay or first impressions. I like to enjoy a person's company for a while before I decide whether I like them or not. This includes people of all species, humans, animals, insects, plants, etc. This also led me to join Bat Conservation International, or BCI. And about the time I joined in the 80s, they were moving to Austin, Texas. Also at that time, Austin had just finished building the Congress Avenue Bridge over the river, and it turned out that the structure under the bridge was perfect housing for bats. And many of them took up residence there. People started getting scared, and when they saw that BCI was there, they turned to them to solve the problem by exterminating them. So BCI, undercover, started spreading literature talking about how the bats were insect eaters, which fed on the pests that ruin crops and bite people. And everyone did a complete turnaround. Now, at restaurants overlooking the bridge, or reservations at dusk when the 20,000 or so bats emerge from under the bridge, you have to call 2 weeks in advance for the pleasure of viewing this emergence. Now, one time when I was living in Seattle, I was riding my bike and I was going by a bus stop. And as I was approaching the bus stop, I saw a young man with a really cool hairdo. He was a young black man, and he had these carvings in his hair that was just beautiful. And I was looking at him, and I suddenly realized that he was getting nervous. And so as I was riding by, I said, "Cool dude." And he immediately laughed and looked at me and said, "Thanks." Very happy. Now this this experience was a major factor in making me realize that I can have a powerful effect by a powerful effect on people by greeting them and greeting people on the street rather than following my training to avoid interaction. I have met and had some very interesting conversations with people as a result of that practice. Now, of course, FCCO has been an amazing place for me to grow in understanding of my impact as a white heterosexual male. The cultural diversity and openness about the injustices enacted on people of color, queer and trans folks, women, and the planet itself has alternately made me feel right at home and very uncomfortable in ways that have helped me grow immensely. Right now, I'm in the Oakland Peace Center book group discussing the book Minor Feelings by Kathy Park Hong, which has had a significant impact on me, and through it, I have seen other places where I can grow. I'm not sure yet where it's going to lead me, but I've definitely got that uncomfortable feeling of other that tells me I need to look into it more. And I highly recommend the book. Again, that's Minor Feelings by Kathy Park Hong. Now, I encourage you to reflect on who the other is for you, whether that be your partner, people on the street, yourself, insects, rodents, or even the weeds in the garden. Where is it that you are uncomfortable and feel spirit calling you to engage, but don't? I'll leave you with that question. Thank you so much for giving me this opportunity to share a bit about my spiritual journey. Amen.
Amen.
Thank you, Loren. That sounds good.
Amen.
Amen.
Thank you, Loren.
That's
Thank
beautiful.
you,
Igor.
Amen, Loren.
Nice.
Yay for the bats.
Blessed
Lauren.
be.
Ask
Thank
me
you.
anything about bats.